John 8:54. Respondit Iesus, si ego glorifico me ipsum, gloria mea nihil est pater meus qui glorificat me, quem vos dicitis quia Deus noster est. Jesus answered, if I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you say that he is our God. There's a couple of mildly squirrely things going on in this verse that deserve our attention. Jesus answered them and said, okay, so let's identify the levels of quotation. If I glorify myself, my glory is nothing. Let's add some punctuation in here. It is my Father who glorifies me, of whom you all say that he is our God. Okay, hopefully that clarifies the structure a little bit for us. Si ego glorifico me ipsum. Okay, so first we want to notice these personal pronouns are emphatic. Ego glorifico, si ego glorifico me ipsum. If I glorify, bring glory to, make much of myself, my glory is nothing. It's worthless. By contrast, it is my Father who glorifies me. Okay, so we've got a couple of different forms of this verb. Glorifico, glorificare, bring glory to, make much of, exalt. Those would all be perfectly fine translations. It is my Father, not myself, in other words, who glorifies me. And this is where things get a little bit hairy. In English, we'd have to say, of whom you say, or about whom you say the following. And initially in Latin, it almost looks like we're being set up for an accusative infinitive construction. We almost expect the translation to say, whom you say, whom you claim is Deum nostrum. Okay, and the noster here is giving the perspective of the people to whom he's speaking, okay? But this isn't what we get. We don't get a nice accusative infinitive construction, but I hope that helps you understand exactly what's going on here. Instead, we're going to substitute quia as our linking word to introduce indirect speech. Whom you say, literally, that he is our God. So he is our God is the thing that is being reported as the direct speech, and it's being written just as it would be spoken in direct speech, and just kind of tacked on to the speech reporting formula with quia. This is really what is different between that way of doing things and the accusative infinitive construction. If we want to use the latter construction, we've got to make some changes. Whom you all claim is our God. And there is some manuscript variants here that has, instead of nostrum, vestrum, and you can see why that reading would have crept in, because again it would match vos. But what's being reported here, again, is the direct speech of the people to whom Jesus is speaking. So, of whom, in English, one more time, of whom you all claim or say, or about whom you say, he is our God. So you can't really translate this very cleanly, literally as the Latin stands into English. And part of the issue here is the syntax is a bit awkward because our Latin translator is following the Greek text so closely. But there's no indication to me here that this necessarily would have been felt or heard as awkward by the original late antique readers of Jerome's new translation. So we don't want to press it too far and say just because this sounds awkward to us, it would have sounded awkward to the original audiences. I'm not sure that is the case. But for those who have been schooled in how indirect speech should work according to classical terms with an accusative infinitive construction, which is many of you out there who have learned according to classical rules first, this is going to strike you as a bit weird. But it's less weird than it looks. It just follows its own logic to which you must become accustomed.